I'm Jill Underly, Wisconsin State Superintendent of Public Instruction, and I'm going to begin my speech today with a story, a beloved story, a story by Eric Carle that I know so many of us have read or still read to our kids in our early learning classrooms. The Very Hungry Caterpillar is such a well-loved picture book, and you might think it a rather odd place to start a major address on education, but I beg to differ. The caterpillar is hungry, very hungry in fact, and also curious and intent on growing. And in addition to being a sweet story about stomach aches, it's one about metamorphosis and change, and it conveniently skips the messiest part of that change. In the book, the caterpillar builds a cocoon, waits 2 weeks, and then emerges as a butterfly. But the messy part, those 2 weeks, is the best, most important part of the story because the messy part is what carries the important lesson. So let me tell you about that lesson. It's kind of perfect that the first time that I heard the story, or heard the messy part, I should say, was from a student who heard about it from their classroom teacher, who taught about it as a community building exercise. So here's what the student, Blue, wrote. When a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, there's a moment in the transition when the caterpillar must let go of its form in order to reform into a butterfly. Inside that chrysalis, the body dissolves into a kind of soup. It's not the loveliest part of the process, but without it, there cannot be change. When you feel like everything is falling apart, remember the caterpillar and be willing to be the soup. I think it's a hopeful lesson, the story of mess and transformation, because after all, change or transformation, it can be messy, and the process is rarely pretty, but it's where the hope lives. It can be easy to feel hopeless in times of change and transition. That's why it's easy to feel hopeless right now. It's true that there's a lot to be discouraged about, a lot shifting underneath our feet. We are in a moment of change,